The whole experience left me feeling that street preachers, it's now a case of being presumed guilty until found innocent, which is really the wrong way around. I thought it was presumed innocent until found guilty.
But this just recently in England, this is what got me thinking about shouting from the rooftops, I'm not ashamed of the gospel. There is an increasing attack on freedom of religion, speech, and conscience in America, in England, in other countries. Some of it's coming from gay activism. Some of it's coming just from another, quote, progressive mindset. But for sure, what we do know is the attack is there. The attack is real. The attack is unprecedented for America, for England, in recent centuries in England. Obviously, there's been persecution of the church at other times before. I'm not comparing what's happening to us to what's happening to Christians in the Middle East who are being beheaded and suffering all kinds of horrible atrocities. Not comparing that at all. Simply that the reality is there are increasing attacks on our freedoms, because of which it's important for us to shout out the gospel. I don't mean in an obnoxious way, but to be all the more unashamed of Jesus now. It's the best way to push back. Before we go to the phones, let's listen to Rob Hughes tell his story, beginning with clip number 1.
My name's Rob Hughes. I've been involved in street witnessing and gospel proclamation for about 7 or 8 years now. In September 2013, I was in Basildon, Essex with some friends. I think there was about 3 or 4 of us out that day. And we'd gone out to preach the gospel just like we had so many times before. Nothing was different. I got up to preach first, and I've been preaching for about 15, 20 minutes on the subject of the existence of God, how we can know there is a God who made us, and how that we've all sinned against him. It was at this point, about 15 minutes in, when a young girl came along and really took to what I was saying in a fairly negative way. She threw a number of profanities at me, very rather disgusting language actually, and accused me of judging her. I asked her if it was wrong to judge, and she said yes. So I proceeded to say, well, you shouldn't be judging me then, should you? And the fact that you're accusing me of judging you when you're standing there judging me, well, that makes you a hypocrite. She didn't quite like that and stormed off. I carried on preaching, and about an hour later, after I got down, I was talking to people, just one-to-one conversations, handing out some leaflets, when a couple of police officers came over to me and said that I was about to be arrested because I had caused distress and used homophobic language towards a person.
He gets arrested. In point of fact, he hadn't said a word about issues relating to homosexuality yet. That's the way to shut someone down on the streets of England. Say that they insulted you and used homophobic language. Let's go to clip number 2 as he addresses this issue directly. Clip number 2.
I was very surprised because I hadn't even mentioned anything about homosexuality, hadn't even brought that up. And I could prove it because I had a dictaphone in my pocket that was recording everything I said. I said that to the police officer, and she said, well, the accusation is that you have used homophobic language. So I said, well, can I respond? And she said, you can respond down the station.
So based on someone's accusation, listen carefully, not based on truth, not based on evidence, based on one person's accusation. He's got a dictaphone. He's got it all recorded. You can hear every word he said. No, that's not going to do. Someone accused you. You're going to be arrested, and you're going to have to go and spend some time right down at the police precinct. So let's continue his story. Clip number 3. He tells you what happened next. Remember, he's just on the street preaching Jesus. He is not doing anything illegal. He's not breaking any law, nor is he making a single comment that anyone could possibly call homophobic, because he's not saying anything relating to the topic of homosexuality. Number 3.
It was at that point that I realized it didn't matter what I said. I was about to be arrested. So I just submitted. I just ceased and desist. I think that's the phrase. Just simply said, well, then you need to arrest me. And I was taken to the police station, processed. mugshot, fingerprints, DNA, the whole works. Placed in a cell. I was in a cell for about 11 hours, and then my solicitor finally arrived from the Christian Legal Centre. I was interviewed by the police. They asked me a number of questions. Why were you out? What were you saying? Did you say what the people said? I said no. Of course, I was polite and courteous. I did say that you have my dictaphone in your possession. You can listen to the recording, the audio if you like. They dismissed that, not sure why. But just continued with the interview, finished the questions. At the end of the interview, shortly thereafter, I was told that no further action would be taken because of insufficient evidence.
So he's presumed guilty. He's presumed guilty, and he ends up spending 11 hours at the police precinct because of a false accusation, after which they let him go. After 11 hours. An attorney comes from the Christian Legal Center, and after 11 hours, brought in for no good reason other than a false accusation. Someone else was actually fined, a street preacher. He quoted Leviticus 20, saying homosexual practice is an abomination, not quoting the part of the verse about the death penalty. And there's death penalty for breaking the Sabbath and for committing adultery and for other sins in the Old Testament. He didn't reference that. He just referenced it saying it was an abomination. And the judge, who happened to be a Muslim judge, interestingly enough, sentenced him, fined him for his speech, and told him, this is another case in England, if you want to speak about the subject, you must use a different verse. Friends, this is unreal. This is unreal. It could easily happen in America. And things close enough to this have already happened in America. What do? Get obnoxious? No. Get self-righteous? No. Get hypocritical? No. What do? Proclaim the message of Jesus even more clearly, even more boldly. Redouble our efforts to share the gospel with the lost. Let me say it again, not in an obnoxious way, but declaring the good news without shame, without fear. 866-34-TRUTH. All right, I've only got 45 seconds before the break. We come back, I'm going straight to the phone. So Bomber, Matt, Hurley, David, Chuck, stay right there. I am going straight to the phones on the other side of the break. I remember Nancy came back from Oklahoma some years ago with a T-shirt she bought for me, bright orange red, and it just said Jesus on it. And it was so bright, even though I was a bold witness, I remember thinking, this is really kind of shouting it out, almost feeling a little funny. And I met a professor. I had been interacting with him while working on my doctoral dissertation. He just knew me. He was a scholar. He knew me as a young, budding Semitic scholar. That's the only way we had interacted. Went to a pizzeria. There I was wearing the bright, shouting Jesus shirt. He was also Jewish. I thought, I guess the secret is out. We'll be right back.